Global markets are watching trade talks this morning between the United States and China. Beijing is making bold proposals in the trade negotiations, notably on forced transfer of technology. According to Reuters this morning, Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin and the U.S. Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer are in Beijing. They kicked off a new round of talks today. Joining me right now is Texas Congressman, member of the House Energy and Commerce Committee, Michael Burgess. Congressman, it's good to see you this morning. Thanks so much for being here.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on.
So what are you expecting out of China and a deal here? You know, I know that China is willing to open up its markets. Financial services is getting a bit of a foothold, and they're willing to buy more goods from the U.S. like soybean and natural gas. But what about the big ticket items like IP theft and forced transfer of technology? Do you believe the U.S. will be able to put some kind of enforcement in place to ensure that Beijing follows through on its promises on that score?
Well, I don't think the ambassador and the secretary would be there if there weren't an expectation they could get that done. But look, I guess the encouraging thing is that they're there and they're talking, and it's important. I hear from constituents all the time that want these trade deals worked out. They're grateful that the president has taken this on. He's put America first, and that's a good thing. But the work needs to get done, and we've got a lot of expectations on the secretary and the ambassador right now.
Do you think that we will be able to get a deal done between the U.S. and China?
I do. I think it's too important to not get done, and that one is obviously we have the Mexico City-Canada agreement that likely will come in some legislative form to the Congress later this spring. But the China aspect is one that is really coming just through the administration, and they need to be successful.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned USMCA, because that's going to be something that certainly would move markets. And there have been a few Democrats out there that basically say, look, I'm not going to sign this in its current form. Do you think it passes?
You know, all of us need to see what the deal on the table is in its final form, and that's the big unknown right now. So sure, I would even say, well, I've got to see it first before I'll commit to it. But you know, for years we've heard people say that NAFTA is probably, there's some things with NAFTA that weren't great and needed to be fixed, and here's the opportunity to fix them. So there will be a binary choice when you get to that point. It is either stay with status quo, which is NAFTA, or move on with what the president has been able to negotiate with Mexico's Canada trade agreement. I suspect it will pass. I do. I think Democrats for years have complained about NAFTA. Yeah. Here's their chance. Here's their chance to move on.
Congressman, you are a doctor. I want to talk to you about health care. You are obviously a congressman. The Journal this morning is reporting their editorial board has an op-ed out titled this, "A Losing Healthcare Strategy." And the editorial board writes this: the administration has written new rules that allow highly affordable short-term health insurance, as well as association health plans that offer group insurance across different risk pools than a single employer or the Obamacare exchanges. The GOP can build on that base to offer a new campaign vision to take to voters, but better to do it without pursuing a legal strategy that is likely to fail and could blow up politically. Of course, the president has criticized the Affordable Care Act. Here's what he said.
Obamacare is a disaster. So we're going to be the part, and I said it yesterday, and I mean it 100%. I understand health care now, especially, very well. A lot of people don't understand it. We are going to be, the Republicans, the party of great health care. The Democrats they've let you down. They came up with Obamacare. It's terrible.
Congressman, how do you do that? How do you become the party of health care?
Well, look, first off, I agree with what the president just said. You know, when I hear from constituents, yeah, I hear from people that are concerned about, hey, I don't want to lose protection for pre-existing conditions. But right now, I've got a policy that I can't afford, I'm forced to buy, and I'm scared to use, because if I go to the emergency room, my deductible and copays are so high, I'm going to go broke. But look, there are better ways, and you just referenced them. This president actually has a great record on health care, and that is in the employer-sponsored insurance market, what we call the ERISA market, where pre-existing conditions are covered from day one. All the people that are working today that weren't working when the president took his hand off the Bible 2 years ago, this is a great success story, and one that really we ought to be talking about more. So more people have coverage, employer-sponsored coverage, large group market coverage, under President Trump then had 2 years ago. The association health plans is a way to expand that same type of large group coverage to smaller businesses. When I was in a medical practice, I would have loved the ability to partner together with other medical practices in the area and buy in the large group market. I'd have saved money. My employees would have had better health care. It is a winning strategy. And we had a long argument about it actually in our committee yesterday. The Democrats hate this type of program. They call it junk insurance. But realistically, it's because they want the government to control everything. I want people to control it.
Well, so
I think that we need to be in charge of our health care.
Real quick, what do you say to Bernie Sanders' plans of Medicare for all, then?
Well, Bernie can have it. But look, that plan actually negates all of the large group market. It takes away the insurance that where most Americans get their insurance and like their insurance. So maybe you ought to take a line from President Obama. If you like your insurance, you can keep your insurance. But we all knew that wasn't true. They would be so damaging to what people look to, what they depend on right now. This would be a damaging effect, and actually would be politically, it would be disastrous. So I'll warn Bernie off of that idea.
Congressman, it's good to have you on the program this morning. Thanks so much. Congressman Michael Burgess there.